So we are going to start in 1 minute. So please take your seats, and we will get started on time. Can everyone hear me? Raise your hands if you can hear me.
Oh, no, you don't moderate.
Fantastic.
Just go up and read the article.
All right, but do I have to yell?
I put you down by John, is that okay?
Thank you all very much for coming. I know some people are checking in, but I have some opening remarks, so I'll take my time to let people check in. Some ground rules, some housekeeping matters. My name is Ben Farrell. I am your town moderator, and I call this special town meeting to order. First things first, I just want to go over some ground rules for tonight. Hopefully this will be a quick town meeting. We only have 9 articles. But there are rules of the game. If you do need to leave to go to the bathroom, you have to check in with the clerk and give them your clicker back. They'll write down the number, and then when you come back, you get your clicker back. All right, we don't want the clickers all over the place, so the clickers stay here in the room. And it's okay to leave. That's fine. Just if a vote happens, you just won't be able to participate. That's all. All right, if you wish to speak on an article, there are microphones in the back there and up front here. If you wish to be recognized during debate, just come right up to the microphone and I will acknowledge you. You cannot speak until I recognize you to speak. So that's important. We don't want chaos. We would like orderly chaos. So if you'd like to speak, come up to the microphone and I will recognize you. I will not formally time you, but I ask that you keep your remarks to around 2 minutes. If there's a lot of people, I do reserve the right to set up a timer of 2 minutes, 2 minutes per speaker, but hopefully we won't have to get there. Just keep your remarks to 2 minutes. And all questions, remarks, debate, come through me. You do not speak to anyone else in the room. All questions and remarks are to me, the moderator. And then whoever that question is actually geared towards, I will recognize to answer. Okay? Voting. We have a clicker system, which is great when there's not as many people. Last town meeting, it got a little slow. So it's very simple. Green is yes, red is no. You do not need to press abstain, just don't vote if you're going to abstain, okay? When you make your vote, the screen will say okay, all right? And when you see that okay, your vote will have registered. If you don't see it, hold it up. The antennas are right there, so kind of point it at the antennas, okay? I will call after debate when the vote opens and closes. Hopefully it shouldn't be more than 20 to 30 seconds for everyone to get their vote in. When the vote is closed, the results will be right on the screen there, and we will see if the article passes or fails. All right. I think, can we do a test vote? Sure. We do this every town meeting. Let's do a test. The question will be, will the Patriots win the AFC East? And the vote opens now. So the total will come up. We will have a number, but this obviously doesn't count abstentions. So when we get to about that number, all right, we'll close the vote. Oh, close call. Some Bills fans out there? Okay. So that's essentially how it works. Okay, and so we will get started with article, the reading. Do we need to do the reading? I will entertain real quick a motion to waive the reading of the warrant. And a second? Okay, we'll do a voice vote. We have a second. On the motion to waive the reading of the warrant, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed say nay. All right, motion passes. We will start with Article 1, and that's the Finance Committee.
What's up?
Yeah. At a special town meeting? Not only the annual, but I mean, we.
All right, you good? The FinCom unanimously voted to recommend the town transfer the sums of money as outlined below at our regularly scheduled meeting. Transfer from Police Department wage in the amount of $7,300. Sorry. This one?
Oh, no, that's the worst. So
back to
right
this
here,
one. Read
right here.
this.
This one that's not
I move to
listed.
transfer.
All right. So I move the town transfer the sums of money as outlined below. Transfer from Police Department wage, amount $7,300 to health insurance town share. Transfer from Police Department expense, amount $7,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from pool expense, $8,650 to health insurance town share. Transfer from DPW hired services, amount $5,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from highway wage, amount $18,150 to health insurance town share. Transfer from fire department wage, amount $5,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from fire department expense, amount $5,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from Lakes Committee expense, amount $9,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from library expense, amount $1,500 to health insurance town share. Transfer from senior center wage, amount $1,000 to health insurance town share. Transfer from general insurance, amount $110,000 to health insurance town share.
Is there a second? Second. All right, motion is moved and seconded. Do we have a presentation or reason for debate? Mr. Williams.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Steve Williams, Town Manager. Articles 1, 2, and 3 all address an unforeseen budget deficit in our employee health insurance. We were notified in July that our health and pharmaceutical plans were exceeding, those monthly costs were exceeding monthly projections, and that a mid-year increase was going to be necessary. The Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust voted to implement a 20% increase effective October 1st, so it's already been in place for a month. That means for 9 months of this current fiscal year, we were going to be underfunded. The good news, through a series of financial transfers up for your consideration tonight, we can close this deficit without needing additional taxation. Over the next 8 months, we will be working with a broker to make sure that our rates are still comparable, and if the trust for some reason becomes insolvent or we find that the rates are exceeding the market, we will be ready to make a change. So I can assure you that we are not just spending your money foolishly, but for the next 8 months or 9 months of this fiscal year, we need the additional revenues to keep our employees covered. Thank you.
Anyone wish to be heard? Yes, sir.
this health insurance program. And it is just very hard to understand how we can be up into a $950,000 deficit beyond that we have to take money back out of the accounts to pay this bill. And is this going to cure this for the rest of the year? Or are you going to come back at the end of the year and look for another $950,000? This is a very unstable situation. I'd like to see somebody answer a question. Is Belchertown the only town in this Hampshire County retirement fund and insurance funds that are carrying on, or is everybody being sucked into this $900,000 deficit?
Thank you, sir. Mr. Williams.
Sure, I can answer some of those questions, I think. First and foremost, we are making transfers from existing budgets into this deficit, into the health insurance accounts for the town and the schools. We are not going back asking for more tax dollars. We are not increasing the tax rate for this current fiscal year to cover this. It is simply moving money that was either through savings or identified projections that areas where we could move money without impacting our services. We're taking over $300,000 out of our rainy day fund, which is our stabilization fund, and we plan on paying that back over the next 3 years. We had $110,000 coming out of our property and casualty insurance, which was savings from going out on the market for property insurance. We have money in our assessor's overlay account that we're using. So again, these are not significant impacts to services or budgets. It was very well thought out by our finance committee, our select board, our town accountant. They put together a very solid plan that is not going to be noticeable across the town. There are 73 communities that currently work with the Hampshire County Group Insurance Trust. There's over 4,000 employees that are included in that, 328 of them here in Belchertown. 313 retirees here in Belchertown are all part of the trust. It's over 12,000 individuals who are covered through the trust. It was a very good plan. It was very affordable. In fact, in most cases, it used to be below market rate. With the 20% increase that we're seeing, it does bring it back up into a very competitive area now, and we are looking at other plans to see if we can save money. But we had the best of both worlds. We had a rich plan and low rates. And yes, that party is over. We get it. We need to pay attention to what our health insurance costs are now a lot more carefully, because before we knew we had a good rate. So it's definitely a change, and it's something that's taken up a lot of our time to work through. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak? Ms. Lassard-Pearson, thank you.
Thank you. The other thing I wanted to just mention, Steve said most of it, but some of the towns that are very close that were also hit with this unexpected expense include East Hampton and South Hadley, and they're struggling. There's, like Steve said, there's over 70 other communities that this has happened to, and none of them knew that this was going to happen.
Anyone else wish to speak? All right, seeing no one, I will close debate and open the vote. This is a majority vote on Article 1 to see if the town will vote to transfer the sums of money as listed in the motion. I will open the vote now. Oh, we got some people coming in. Excellent. All right. I see it stabilized. I'm going to close the vote. 3, 2, 1, now. Okay. Motion passes. Article 2, Chair recognizes Finance Committee.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Rick Kowal. I'm a member of the Finance Committee, and I will be presenting Article 2. The Finance Committee met on October 15th and unanimous. Oh, okay. I move that the town transfer from the stabilization fund the sum of $63,024 to the health insurance town share account and the sum of $262,003 to the town school department for health insurance school share costs. The Finance Committee met on the 15th of October, unanimously approved this. This is subject to a 2/3 vote from the town.
All right, do we have a second? Second. Anyone wish to speak on Article 2? Don't be shy. Okay. Seeing no volunteers, I will close debate and open the vote on Article 2. More transfer money from the stabilization fund. Again, this requires a 2/3 majority vote of the body. So I will open the vote now. Okay, 10 seconds. Looks like it's slowing down. We're closing in 3, 2, 1. Vote is closed. And the vote passes by a 2/3 majority. Chair recognizes Finance Committee for Article 3.
Good evening. I move the town transfer from the overlay surplus account the sum of $100,000 to the town school department for health insurance school share costs. Finance Committee presenting majority vote is required. Finance Committee unanimously voted to recommend this warrant at a regular scheduled meeting on October 15th.
Is there a second? All right, motion ordered and seconded. Does there exist a need for debate? Does anyone wish to speak on this article? No. All right. Then I will close debate and we will open the vote on Article 3. This is a majority vote to transfer sums from overlay surplus to the line items in your packet. So I will open the vote now. Okay, about 10 seconds. Get your votes in. All right, voting is closing in 3, 2, 1. All right, votes closed. Motion passes. Chair recognizes Ms. Lassard-Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I move the town authorize the Select Board to acquire from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts the parcel of land located off State Street for passive and active recreation purposes as printed in Article 4 of the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
Motion moved and seconded. Chair recognizes Mr. Williams.
Thank you. In the Acts of 2011, Chapter 67, our state legislators authorized the transfer of 2 parcels of property to the town: the Patrick Center, or the McPherson Garden, and the Little Fenway property. The McPherson Garden property was transferred to the town, but for some unknown reason, the Little Fenway property was not. So tonight, we are going to ask for your permission to accept that property, and we're going to work with our legislators to get that formally transferred to the town.
Anyone wish to be heard on Article 4, transfer of property? Okay, we're moving right along. We will open the vote on Article 4. We'll open the vote now. Okay, 10 seconds. Everyone get your votes in. 3, 2, 1, vote is closed. Motion passes. Chair recognizes Mr. Ritter.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. I move the town amend the Chapter 42-1 of the Code of the Town of Belchertown as printed in Article 5 of the Special Town Meeting Warrant.
All right, a motion and second. Chair recognizes Mr. Williams.
Thank you. Over the past couple of years, we've been working to clean up the code of the town of Belchertown. We've been replacing Board of Selectmen with Select Board, Town Administrator with Town Manager, and we've also been working to incorporate the changes that came with the legislation that created the Town Manager's position, the authority that was behind that. That's legislation that was passed in 2024. It's the Act of Chapter 44, the Acts of 2024. Town Council has opined previously that the Town Manager has the authority to appoint Finance Committee members, and tonight we are just asking for that to be written into the bylaw. The legislation takes precedent over the bylaw, but we want to make sure that there's some clarity. The Select Board also wishes to work in the future to create more checks and balances in this regard with appointments to make sure that one person doesn't have all that authority. But tonight, this doesn't address that. That's something that's going to have to be handled through either a revised act of legislation or some other means. Thank you. Now we can.
Yes.
I want to speak on the topic of check and balance. As the legislation stands right now, the town manager alone is the person who decides who's going to be on every committee in town. And I believe that we need a check and a balance so that no one person or one entity has control over whether someone who wants to volunteer or not gets to serve in that capacity. So we will be looking at changing the language on that, not tonight, but we'll begin deliberating on that during our select board meetings. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Take your time.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. My name is Jim Berry. I live on Shea Avenue in Belchertown. Doesn't item A in the revised language clarify that at the town meeting we select the finance committee members in the future? Can anyone read this? At the close of each annual town meeting, the appoints a member or members of the finance committee for terms of 3 years to succeed member or members whose term expires that year. The term of office shall begin July 1 of each year. Doesn't that handle that problem? Please tell me right.
I mean, right now it says moderator is the appointing authority, and this is changing moderator to manager.
I understand the correction from town moderator to town manager,
Yes.
but in my copy of the warrant, page 2, there's a town moderator stricken out, struck out. I don't know what it's doing. And replaced with town manager. And below that, it says one person holding elected office can have it, but that's struck out. And then item A, which replaced the above A, says at the close of each annual town meeting, there shall be appointed a member or members of the finance committee for terms of 3 years to succeed the member or members whose term expires. If we say yes to this, my friend Mr. Williams is out of work in terms of appointing the finance committee as of tonight.
Just to clarify, you're correct. However, the language you just read is the existing language, and that will remain. So I apologize. There's 100 of you here tonight, and there's 100 apologies going out. There's two portions of this vote tonight. One is to clarify the language in the code. The second portion of this vote is to eliminate the section of the code which is known as A. So it would be Chapter 42, subsection 42-1A, which says, no person holding an elected or appointed town office shall be eligible to serve on said committee. So essentially what that statement creates is finance committee members cannot serve on another committee. We have finance committee members that want to serve on our capital improvement planning committee, a buildings and grounds committee, and they're being prohibited by this. So what we're doing is eliminating line A, and then we're renumbering line B to line A, and the new line A is what Mr. Berry just read, which is the existing language. So that does not change. That stays in effect.
No, I'm sorry, sir. Sir, you have to be recognized. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I use my time to do that.
Thank you.
A simple question. One of these finance committee members' term will expire next July. Who appoints that replacement? The town meeting as per this, or the town manager as per your wish?
The town manager pursuant to the legislation.
Then, if we vote yes on this, doesn't this hold? Because the motion was to accept it as printed in the warrant. That's the motion.
So I think I can address the confusion here. Town meeting is mentioned, it's just when this appointment happens at the end of the annual town meeting, it shall be appointed. And the appointing authority now is going to be the manager. So it's not town meeting that makes the appointment under this language, it's just the timing of that. I think that's the confusion.
I think also because the sentence starts with A, but it's not A period, it's a finance committee. And then the subsection, there was A and B, and now there's only one that's A under.
Yes.
The other part of this question concerns me, and that is, we're allowing, if I understand correctly, we're allowing members of the finance committee to serve in other committees or other paid positions in the town. Is that not a conflict of interest?
Mr. Williams.
No, this does not allow finance committee members to serve in another paid position. There's other laws that would regulate that, including the ethics laws. This is to allow them to serve on another committee.
Yes, ma'am.
Linda Sumas, 50 Center Street. I have a problem with the way that this article is presented. There are actually two items that need to be separated for vote. The statement allowing an individual to serve in more than one capacity creates a significant conflict of interest. Our finance committee should be independent of any of the positions in town so that they can make decisions based on the material and information that they are presented, not based on their interest in another committee and the interest of that particular work.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ron Hockey, Azalea Way. Question I have is, at this point, I do not believe the Finance Committee members have been designated special municipal employees. Would that not have to occur if they are to serve on the Finance Committee as well as another committee, especially, obviously, the state?
There was a question to the panel. At this point, I will recognize town council.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Brian Riley with the Office of Town Council. Excuse me, if the second, the line that's struck through, if that's adopted tonight, it means the prohibition of someone holding an elected or appointed office from also being on the Finance Committee would be stricken. So, at least in theory, somebody holding another appointed office could be appointed to the Finance Committee. As someone mentioned, if someone has a paid position and then gets appointed to the Finance Committee, that at least potentially could trigger the conflict of interest law. That's very fact specific as to whether it applies or not. Right now, basically, if you want to be on the Finance Committee, you can't have another town office, elected or appointed. And this, what's on the floor, would strike out that sentence.
Thank you for clarifying. I guess what I'm suggesting to the select board and the town manager is if this article is approved by town meeting tonight, then it would probably be cleaner, if you will, at least to discuss making the Finance Committee members, especially municipal employees, so that it doesn't have to be done after the fact.
Thank you, sir. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
I'm Wiggins from 21 Eagle Heights. So I just want to clarify, I'm a member of the school committee, so that means I could be appointed to the Finance Committee?
So you could request to be appointed to the Finance Committee. It would be up to the Finance Committee Chair and the Finance Committee to make a recommendation to the town manager, whoever he or she is at the time, to make that appointment. I would suspect that a town manager would likely say no, because that would be a potential conflict. But what about somebody that is on the Communications Committee? Or, some of these other committees that we struggle to find people to fill? CPC Committee would probably be a conflict.
So if I vote yes to this question, then I'm allowing one person to make that decision. Is that true?
No, because that is already codified in legislation. The second half of this is whether or not committee members could be on more than one committee. And yes, it probably, it is, yes, that is correct. Yes. Yes.
And again, I know we're having a wonderful conversation, but please, questions through me, and I will recognize the speakers. So, yes, sir.
It's Coolins, 47 Pine Street. So I just want to understand, if someone is currently sitting on a committee, and next week is the end of that term, right? Here it says that that person shall be appointed by the town manager, and if you follow to sort of the VA on page 2, it says at the close of each town meeting. So let's just say there's a scenario where we have somebody on the Finance Committee or another committee, we want to move them over next week, the end of the town meeting. Is there a time and space in between their terms that they have, that the town manager, as would be the expansion of their powers through this rule, that they would have to wait? Or does that just, are we giving that person that right to say, this week your Finance Committee, and we'll go to town meeting, and next week will be part of the Communications Committee?
Does someone have an answer?
You can see how there could be sort of some odd mechanisms, because we're all humans, where favoritism could be shown in that process.
So there currently is no waiting period between committee appointments. Most committees don't have a prohibition about serving on another committee, so we have a lot of volunteers who serve on more than one committee. I can think of people that serve on 3 and 4 committees. This allows a current Finance Committee member to sit on another committee. Now, I mean no disrespect to our Finance Committee, but they are an advisory board. The Select Board sets the budget based on advice from the town accountant, the town manager, the Finance Committee, the school committee. It is not the exclusive decision of the Finance Committee. The prohibition made more sense when the Finance Committee had more stake in the game, if you will. Right now, they're an advisory group. All they can do is advise the select board. They manage our reserve fund, so potential conflicts are very limited in that regard.
Thank you. And I understand you're a repeat customer. Does anyone else wish to speak before we have repeat speakers? Yes, sir.
Point of clarification, before this comes up for a vote, how is this going through? This is now going to be, the finance committee will be appointed by the town manager or by the town moderator. Which way are you heading? This thing is upside down right now.
If this passes tonight, the language in the bylaw will reflect the town manager's authority to appoint members to the finance committee. That is already state law.
Anyone who has not spoken wish to speak? Go ahead, ma'am. Thank you.
Can I please make a motion that we split the question into the two different parts?
So there's a motion to split the vote after consultation with town council. I believe that is in order. So we have a second. Okay, so I'm going to deem that non-debatable. So what the motion on the floor is to split the vote, to have the first section changing the appointing authority from the moderator to the town manager be the first vote, and then the second vote being the motion to strike the language from section A. Do I have that correct? Yes, all right. Those in favor of that split, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. No. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. We will continue debate on the first vote, which is the changing the, if anyone wishes to be heard on the motion to change the language from the appointing authority be the moderator to the manager. Does anyone else wish to be heard on that motion? No. All right. So we're going to do two votes. We will start the vote on Article 5. We'll call it A, changing the language, appointing authority from the moderator to the manager, and I will open the vote now. Okay, we've got about 10 seconds, so get your votes in. 3, 2, 1, vote is closed. Motion passes to change the language in the bylaws from moderator to manager as appointing authority for Finance Committee. Now, I'm going to reopen debate on the second portion of the motion. Does anyone else wish to be heard on striking the language of dual appointments to councils for the Finance Committee? Yes, sir. And this,
Aaron Saunders, Franklin Street. Question of clarification, because the individual words have been at issue. What what constitutes town office?
I'll recognize town council again.
Through you, Mr. Moderator, at the risk of diving into too much legalese, there is case law which talks about the distinction between an office and employment. Generally, a town office is something that has its duties and authorities spelled out either in the general laws, like the zoning board, planning board, or perhaps in a town bylaw. Someone who is, hired and paid to work in the DPW would not be a town office. That would be an employment position. So generally, that's the rule.
Does anyone else wish to be heard on Part 2 of Article 5, striking the language about dual committees? No. Then I will call the vote as soon as we get that set up. Part 2, dual appointments. And I will open the vote now. Okay, about 10 seconds. All right, 3, 2, 1. We'll close the vote. Motion passes. It was a majority vote, so motion passes. All right. Go ahead.
Good evening. Whitney Jorns-Kuhnlin, Select Board. Article 6, I move the town transfer the school committee for school purposes to the Select Board for general municipal purposes and for the purpose of conveyance, the care, custody, and control of the property located at 1 Berkshire Street, and authorize the Select Board to convey said property as printed in Article 6 of the special town meeting warrant.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Mr. Williams, do you wish to be heard?
Sure. The school committee previously surplused the building that we know as Tadgel, the Tadgel School, effectively transferring that back to the custody of the Select Board. What this question will do tonight is complete that process and give the Select Board the authority, once we determine what the reuse of that building could potentially be, the authority to either lease that building out or to sell it. Without the town meeting approval, neither can happen. The town would have to continue to sit on it and watch it degrade. So currently we are working to identify the potential reuse of the building, what it needs, the structural issues, cost for rehabilitation, hazardous material mitigation, and reaching out to developers to see what they would have in mind. So we're working towards that goal. We know that the town doesn't have the money to do it without going back to the taxpayers, and that's highly unlikely that would be funded. So we're trying to open up all options.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
The building is not actually owned by the school anyway. This building is still occupied or owned by the town of Belchertown. It is not owned by the school department. So the transfer is only by occupancy, it's not by ownership.
Anyone else wish to be heard? No one else? Okay. So I will open the vote for Article 6 as seen on the screen here, and the vote is open now. Okay, about 10 seconds. Get your votes in. 3, 2, 1. We'll close the vote. Motion passes. And I apologize, that was a 2/3 vote. Obviously, I should have said that before. I do apologize. That did require a 2/3 vote, but it was clearly a 2/3 vote. All right, so we will move on to Article 7.
Nicole Miner, Select Board. I move the town amend the code of the town of Belchertown to add a new provision, fire protection and life safety reporting, as printed in Article 7 of the special town meeting warrant.
Do we have a second? Second. Okay. Motion seconded. Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is John Ingram, I'm the Fire Chief. And this Arctic bylaw is to, we've been using a program called Live Safe, and it's a newer process that fire departments are using. We have to keep track of everybody's fire alarm, their hood cleaning, fire extinguishers for commercial properties. This is not for just residential houses. This is for commercial properties or apartment complexes that have to have an NFPA compliant alarm system. It doesn't cost us any money. We actually collect a small fee to collect those reports, and then the fire prevention folks are able to look at those reports. We can communicate back and forth with the owners of the property to make sure that they are compliant and up to date yearly with all their systems that they have. The other towns that are doing it are Whately, East Hampton, Amherst, Springfield, that are around us, but other Massachusetts out east are also adopting this policy.
Anyone wish to be heard on Article 7? Yes, sir.
Mr. Moderator, I'm in favor of the spirit and the intent of the bylaw. I'm a little concerned about the details involved. Under the submission of reports, the report is the responsibility of the contractor. But the liability and the fees go against the restaurant owner or the commercial building property owner. And that could be easily $300 per day, every day, while the contractor is, I don't know, out sick or negligent in their reporting. So what I'm concerned about is the burden that this could unfairly place on the property owner, the commercial property owner, because of the failure of the contractor to submit reports in a timely manner. There's all kinds of reasons why that might happen. So that's my concern, and I'd love to address.
Thank you, sir. Anyone? Yes, Chief.
So the fees that are collected go through the inspection company that is charged the fee through the third-party company. So however they are choosing to collect that fee from the property owner, again, is up to them. But we deal directly with the inspection company for that.
Yes, sir.
Hi, thank you. Tom Stockton, 19 North Washington Street. I'm president of the Belchertown Historical Association. I don't understand, what would this mean for our museum? We don't have a commercial kitchen or anything, but what would we have to do and when would we have to do it by? Thank you.
So the regulations are places of assembly, and if they meet the criteria for when we go and inspect our restaurants, commercial property, those are required once a year inspections. We would work with, obviously, the museum on seeing where the fire extinguishers are at for that. For us, the town buildings, all the town buildings are in this program as well. With this company that we use, they waive the fees for any town property that we have. So they aren't doing that for other communities, but for us, they they did do that. So any town property that we have those aren't.
It would be a town property, but how long will we have to have you come, or your company come? I don't understand what I have to do.
So those, if you have fire extinguishers in the museum, those have to be inspected yearly, and then we would just get the report from whoever you use to inspect those. But we would work with our prevention folks on that and work with you to that. We're working with, this is a building, it's newer, again, it's a new process, so we've been working on it for about a year now. We're still collecting information and reports from the companies. So we would definitely work with you, and we're not going to be out there, you know, knocking on your door looking for it tomorrow. So.
All right, thank you. Anyone else wish to be heard? Yes, ma'am.
Your definition for gathering place is that this a certain number that is met, and it's kind of vague.
Yeah, it's restaurants, commercial stores, properties, any place that has a commercial hood for cooking, restaurants, all of those, and apartment complexes that have NFPA compliant alarm systems and sprinkler systems as well.
Anyone else wish to be heard? All right, seeing none, I will open the vote on Article 7, last piece of business for this evening, and I will open the vote now. All right, we're getting up there, about 10 seconds. Get your votes in. All right, 3, 2, 1, vote is closed. Motion passes. All right. Without objection, I will dissolve the meeting. Second. All right, all in favor of dissolving the meeting? All opposed? All right. Meeting is dissolved. Thank you all for coming tonight.